Aliens begged for help. The Deathworlders' fleet arrived in style. The distress signal had been broadcasting for 3 cycles when it finally reached human space. Ambassador Velthari of the Kashari Collective clutched the communication console with her 4 delicate manipulator limbs, her bioluminescent skin flickering between desperate orange and fearful purple. The Vrek swarm was only hours away from their last colony world, and the Collective's defense fleet had been reduced to scattered debris floating in the void. "This is Ambassador Velthari of Kashar Prime to any vessels in range," she transmitted again, her translator struggling to maintain composure in her voice. "We require immediate military assistance. The Vrek's bioships are overwhelming our positions. Civilian evacuation is underway, but we have nowhere left to run. Please, anyone who can hear this?" The console beeped. Someone had responded. "Kashar Prime, this is Captain Lisa Chen of the TCSS Indomitable. We've received your distress call. The 3rd Expeditionary Fleet is en route to your position. 4 hours. Hold your ground, Ambassador. The cavalry's coming." Velthari's skin flashed confused green. "Captain Chen, I appreciate your response, but 4 hours? Our defensive perimeter will collapse in 2. We need immediate evacuation support, not what you asked for." Lisa's voice carried an edge of amusement that seemed inappropriate given the circumstances. "Ambassador, you asked for military assistance. That's exactly what you're getting." "Captain, I don't think you understand," Velthari said, her translator finally capturing the tremor in her voice. "The Vreks have 60 capital bioships and hundreds of fighter organisms. Our intelligence suggests they've evolved new acid spore weapons. What is the size of your fleet?" There was a pause. "Then, currently, 12 ships." Velthari's skin went pale blue, the color of death among her people. 12 ships. The humans were sending 12 ships against an armada that had crushed 47 Kashari warships in the span of 2 days. She had heard the rumors about humans, about their death world called Earth with its lethal fauna and catastrophic weather patterns. She had heard they were tough, stubborn, perhaps even reckless. But this wasn't bravery. This was suicide. "Captain Chen," Velthari said carefully, "I am grateful for your courage, but 12 ships cannot—" "Hold that thought, Ambassador. We'll see you soon." Indomitable out. The channel closed. Velthari slumped against her console, her heart sinking. The humans were going to die trying to save them, and the Kashari would still be exterminated. At least someone had tried to help. 4 hours later, Velthari stood in the observation dome of Kashar Prime's orbital station, watching the Vrek swarm approach. Their bioships pulsed with sickly green bioluminescence, each one a massive organism bred for killing. Behind her, the last civilian transport ships were departing, carrying what remained of her people. Then space rippled. 12 ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel, but these weren't like any vessels Velthari had ever seen. They were angular, aggressive, covered in armor plating that looked like it had been through 1,000 battles. Point defense turrets bristled from every surface. Missile pods hung like predators' teeth, and emblazoned on the hull of the lead ship in bold letters, TCSS Indomitable, per ardua ad astra. "All Kashari vessels, this is Captain Chen. Pull back to the station and let us work." "Commander Nick Torres, you're clear to engage." From the Indomitable, a second voice responded, calmer, methodical. "Roger that, Captain. All ships weapons free. Let's show them what a real predator looks like." What happened next would be discussed in galactic military academies for generations. The human ships didn't adopt defensive formations. They didn't attempt to create a perimeter. Instead, they accelerated directly into the Vrek swarm, their engines burning with an intensity that made Velthari's sensors scream warnings about dangerous radiation levels. But humans, she remembered, came from a death world. They were already irradiated by their own sun. The Vrek's bioships, sensing prey, converged on the human fleet. It should have been a massacre. The humans opened fire. Magnetic accelerator cannons, railguns the humans called them, launched tungsten projectiles at relativistic speeds. Each round hit with the force of a small nuclear weapon. Vrek's bioships, evolved over millennia to be nearly indestructible, simply came apart under the onslaught. High explosive missiles followed, each one a precision instrument of destruction that found weak points in organic armor with terrifying accuracy. But it was what came next that made Velthari understand why other species called humans Deathworlders. The Indomitable and 3 other ships punched straight through the Rex formation. their point defense systems creating a web of laser fire that vaporized any fighter organism that came close. Then they turned around and did it again. The humans weren't trying to hold a defensive position. They were hunting. Torres, target the command organism. Starboard cluster. Lisa's voice crackled over the open channel, calm as if she were discussing the weather. I see it, Captain. Main gun spooling up, 3, 2, 1 UD firing. The Indomitable's primary railgun spoke. A lance of magnetically accelerated death that crossed the distance in seconds. The Vrex command organism, a massive bioship 3 times the size of any human vessel, exploded from the inside out as the tungsten penetrator passed through its entire length. The Vrex swarm faltered, their coordination disrupted. The humans didn't give them time to recover. All ships alpha pattern, Lisa commanded. Nick, bring the retribution around for a broadside. Let's clean house. For the next hour, Velthari watched as 12 human ships systematically dismantled a Vrex armada 60 strong. The humans fought with a precision and ferocity that seemed impossible. They took damage. She watched armor plating crack and atmosphere vent from damaged sections, but they didn't retreat. They didn't even slow down. Finally, the last Vrex bioship, its organic hull ruptured and leaking fluids into space, attempted to flee. A human destroyer, the Defiant, pursued and finished it with a missile salvo that turned the fleeing organism into expanding gas. Silence fell across the battlefield. Keshar Prime, this is Captain Chen. Hostile forces have been neutralized. Your space is secure. Velthari's translator couldn't process her response for several moments. Her skin flickered through every color in the Keshari emotional spectrum before settling on odd gold. Captain Chen, she finally managed. How did 12 ships? Lisa's laugh came through the channel, warm and very much alive. Ambassador, here's something you should know about humans. We spent 1 million years evolving on a planet that was actively trying to kill us. Predators, diseases, weather that could freeze or cook you in hours, tectonic activity, asteroid impacts. Earth made us tough. When you asked for military assistance, you weren't just calling for help. You were calling apex predators who learned warfare from the deadliest teacher in the galaxy, survival. Nick's voice joined in. Plus, we've been spoiling for a good fight. The Vrex picked the wrong Deathworlders to mess with. Velthari looked out at the debris field that had been an unstoppable swarm, then at the 12 battered but triumphant human ships holding position around Kesher Prime like guardian predators. Captain Chen, Commander Torres, she said, her skin now shining with grateful silver. The Keshari Collective owes humanity a debt we can never repay. Just doing our job, Ambassador, Lisa replied. Besides, that's what neighbors do. You needed help and we came. Though I'll admit, there was that inappropriate amusement in her voice again. We might have arrived in style. As the human fleet began recovery operations, Velthari made a note in her official report. Humans are not to be underestimated. They are kind, brave, and fiercely loyal to their allies. But more importantly, they are Deathworlders, and in the galaxy's darkest hour, that is exactly who you want on your side. The humans had answered their desperate call for help. They had arrived in impossible odds with impossible courage. They had fought like the universe itself couldn't stop them, because as Velthari was learning, nothing had ever stopped humanity before, and nothing ever would.